I have a strong desire to slap something this morning. Not someone, something.
Okay.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Somebody's talking.
No, I'm playing.
What are you
playing
looking at?
Rayford. I'm playing Rayford's comments.
My comments?
Yeah.
What did I say? I didn't say anything.
You're going to slap something, and that's why I moved.
Oh, okay. You're not a thing, are you? The
No.
thing was a Volkswagen at one time, wasn't it? Didn't the Volkswagen company have a thing?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They have a thing.
I thought it was an it.
No, it was a thing. It was a drive-in out here on Lejeune Boulevard.
Oh, yes, I remember. No, it was.
It was it.
A drive-in.
I knew that. That's why I said it.
Here we go. Yeah.
Okay, that's about all the fun we're going to have today. It's another Friday Eve, a day that we won't be celebrating as we normally look towards a nice weekend. Instead, Americans are in mourning today. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Chris Marks.
I'm Lee Barris.
Not fair, not one bit. For one person, troubled or not, to do much damage to so many people with so little effort.
Sad.
All of you out there by now, you know the story. At least you know what the headlines are. I don't know how many of you spent a lot of time looking at the mess yesterday and last night and whenever. A demented person, one who took the time to prepare a report on what his intentions were in the early morning hours in a place of education and worship, turned out that what time did he go in there? Right after recess, while the kids were coming back to the classroom. Is that what you?
Well, they were actually celebrating mass.
Oh, was that
they
what
were in mass?
Okay.
Before school.
Well, this guy, who he used to be a guy, transgendered to a woman. So if that's confusing all of you, maybe you're not following that. They don't say a whole lot about it in the mainstream media.
It was Robert to Robin. Yes.
And but I say, he's demented. Okay. He took the time to work up this, what they call a manifesto. A manifesto is not something that these scumbuckets are producing. They're doing. I can't call them a manifesto. That gives too much credit to them. He killed 2 children. He slaughtered them. He wounded another 17. Then, as so often happens, the chicken excuse for a human being killed himself, as though that was going to solve anything. I really hate the thought of anybody reaching a point that they feel so despondent and so uptight that they don't feel like they have any other way out but to take their own lives. There's way too much of that. I've been to way too much of that.
Yes.
I've known people who have done that. I hate anybody thinking that life is not worth living and this is their only out. But given this man's plans that apparently had been in the works for quite some time, I would much rather have seen him find a quiet place, do whatever his demons tell him to do without harming innocent children or anyone else. Is that cruel on my part?
No.
I think we've all had those thoughts.
If the purpose is to get attention, what good is this going to do? Because I'm not even going to use your name. All right, scumbucket. That's the nicest thing that I've called him.
It is.
He's worm food in the making. I'm good with that. I'm not going to give you any attention. Your name will not go down in history and it will not cross my lips, ever. The world will not pity you. Your sins will not be forgiven on this earth. And let me do that again. The vast majority of the people in this nation will not ever forgive you for the sins that you have committed. There may be some very dedicated, the Chris's out there, a lot of folks. I will never forgive him. Do you think any one of those parents will ever forgive him, of those 19 kids that he wounded or killed?
There'll be some that will forgive.
They will say they will
because
forgive him.
they feel like it's the Christian thing to do.
Mhm.
Because there are people like that, like in the Brian Kohlberger case, there were parents that actually put out statements like, "We forgive you." Me personally, I would find it extremely hard.
The Raleigh diocese bishop,
Yeah.
he did not address the forgiving part. But he
Couldn't
did
do it,
say-
could he?
What he said is we need to pray for these situations to stop occurring. We need
Yep.
to pray for the families.
This guy is going to become just another pitiful nothing for the future.
Yeah.
And whatever you think needs to be dealt with will get no attention. Life will go on. Your family and friends will be tarnished forever. Many people will blame themselves for not recognizing your problems and doing something about it, but there is only one pitiful soul who is responsible.
That's it.
And it is the miserable, rotting piece of useless flesh you leave behind.
What a story. What a story. I think what really, really struck me, watching the live, we were doing that, what was going on that was being broadcast. But I think what really made it real was the mayor, Jacob Frey, when he got up there and he said, "Don't say you're sending thoughts and prayers.
Oh, no.
Don't say thoughts and prayers," because those children were in that church praying at the time that their lives are. He was, it gives me goosebumps right now thinking about it.
We've got 17 kids there who are going to be scarred forever, plus their classmates who are going to be scarred forever. The parents, they're on buses right now. Do you not think that they are aware of this stuff?
They're very aware of it.
They're going to school today. Are they wondering, okay, do I really, Mama, can I stay home? My stomach hurts.
Right.
I wouldn't want them. If I had a child like that and she or he told me, he said, I just can't go to school today. My stomach really hurts. And if I feel the sincerity there, guess what? You and me are staying home together.
We spend so much time shielding our children, well, for the most part, most parents do, from harm, and then to send them to school in a church.
That's what causes moms who have to stay at home with situations like this today to drink. I have no doubt about some of that.
Wow.
After I heard it was happening, and I see these sweet children, and we actually we have a weekday mass for the children, and they're all brought into the church.
You've got some solace built in the Catholic faith that is quite often the case.
Yeah.
You guys live to make sure everybody is taken care of within your congregation and beyond. You go way beyond. I know that. But just think about it now. Parents, the kids are afraid to go to school, some of them. Mm-hmm. Many of them, if not most of them, will say, well, that's a tragic thing up there, but it can't happen here. Pretty much what those kids were thinking yesterday morning when they were read about the last school shooting somewhere. Can't happen here.
Did you read his alleged manifesto?
No, I did not. I don't want to.
I read it.
It's the ramblings of a madman.
But let me tell you, it just seemed like to me, I don't know if you agree, Chris, is that everything that he wrote was well thought of.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't a rambling. And I mean, I even noticed that his handwriting was meticulous.
Yes.
But
when I say rambling, it's going to be taking snippets. He's very articulate about this event, but there's a whole lot of disconnect between this page and this page and that page down there.
But if you read it, it was like it was well thought of, every line that he wrote, and it just struck me really odd, because usually someone like that has nothing but pages of ramble.
It was some of the things that he wrote on the magazines, on the guns.
Yes.
He even had.
Yeah.
I'm not.
He was talking about the Jewish community.
Yeah, he was a racist.
Yes, he was.
He was anti-Semitic.
Yes, he was.
Anti-Trump.
Anti-Trump.
Definitely.
Anti-American.
Right.
anti our way of life, period. Parents, not only kids are scared, parents. God, you got on the bus at 6:45 this morning. I won't see you. Hopefully I will see you when you get home at 3:30 or whatever time they get home.
Imagine.
That's a long day.
Yeah.
That's a long day.
It's a long day, yeah.
For a while, churches and schools will take extra precautions. There'll be lots of extra effort put into making sure the kids will be safe. You folks
I have
are
a
already
meeting
talking
today
about it.
after the
You
show.
folks are talking about it. That extra protection is not going to be so tight in a month. 6 months from now, Christmas time will come back the first of the year. It's back to where we were before yesterday.
Right.
Naturally, the same individuals who are clamoring for more useless laws will be standing and campaigning, using the deaths of these latest victims as pawns for their cause. I will beat every one of them down verbally because I won't be allowed to do it otherwise. The cries of those who see a common denominator will be drowned out. There is a common denominator, folks, in every event like this. What is it? Mental illness. Mental illness comes in so many different shapes and sizes. One size does not fit all. It's there. No one, not one person, making all of the noise out there is going to rise up and do anything to protest the one issue that's common in these events. When are we going to realize, when are we, the people, going to realize that I don't care what you do and take away this or take away that, you're not going to stop this without addressing the issue of a personal problem, a person's problem. I've told you about wrecks and accidents. There are no such things as accidents. They're wrecks. Some person, and no car caused it. No inanimate object is responsible. It's a person or persons all the time.
Well,
I personally don't care about the cause of the mental illness. I'm sorry for you. We can work on the cause. We, the people, need to work on the cause. That's why we have places like Dick's Crisis Center. That's why we have other places. Why we have counselors. Why we have this. We need to work on that. Absolutely. But first, you got to close the door. You've got to stop it. And that starts with parents, loved ones, friends. Don't close the door and just walk away and say, that guy's kind of wacky. No. If y'all get together as a group of people, if we, the people, get together as a very large group of people and say, you know what, there are individuals out here who need help. But first thing we have to do is contain this problem. They've got to be identified. And got to take action to make sure that they don't not have access to things like this guy had access to. And we, the people, they all can have access to it. But we, the people, know it. Somebody knew he had guns. Everybody knew he was wacky. They dealt with him. His picture, not to judge a book by its cover, but his picture tells you a whole lot. At age, what was he when he started doing the transgender thing?
It was a couple years
Yeah,
ago.
before he was still a teenager.
Right.
You know what? That's just not right. Parents, get involved. Yeah, when they get 18, you don't have any control. Well, you do. You got a control of a 40-year-old if they're going outlandish, that they're posing a threat to other people. You have a responsibility to get involved. The life you say could be your own.
Didn't his mother recently retire from there? At the church?
She worked there.
She worked there for years.
Worked there. So that's the reason for that particular target. I'm sorry. That's the excuse for that particular target. He had mother issues. Do you hate your mom? Do you hate your dad? I mean, every shrink in the world asks you that question, right?
I mean, how did we get to where we are in this country with so many mental issues? Are we blaming it all on mental issues? Or you know, in this case, this guy was just pure evil.
Well,
I think he was just pure evil.
and someone asked me, I get asked a lot of questions when it comes to to theology, which I'm not a theologian, or to the religion, about evil and why it exists. And it's very simple. The reason evil exists is because people follow it. Evil has followers.
I believe that.
God, and I don't want to go into it, but I'll just say this: God gives us all free choice, and you choose good or evil. This person chose evil.
That's the point. We the people,
Exactly.
as individuals, we have choices. Those who take the wrong path, they make the wrong choice. We then have to do something about it if we're going to continue to exist. And this world is not going to get down to the point that those individuals outnumber us and they're going to be munching down on us at the end of the world.
Exactly.
Okay.
I agree.
You can picture this. You can picture that. Oh, let's chase him down and take him away, eat his arms. You know, that's.
Thomas, yes, watch. Thomas sent us a message about a video. Yes, I did watch, and the scum was a very sick person.
The video that he put on YouTube, the first one, where he's got his manifesto, that's what you want to call it, laying on his bed. And then I think the eerie part about the whole thing is when he had a handful of rounds and he just drops them right on top of the paper. And I'm like,
he was visually oriented. He's also a chicken. Most of the individuals like that, they feel like they're so powerful. They got a gun and they got their targets are soft targets. You do not. How many times do you see an individual like this? There will be some who will walk into a police station and try pulling that kind of stuff. You know what? You're short-lived.
Yeah.
Well, see, are they gonna...
and they do not decide, oh, he's a nut job, we need to examine him. No, we need to stop him. And that's what we've got to do today. That doesn't mean we all need to go out and kill every person who has mental illness. We need to get them treatment before they become violent.
The video Thomas is talking about that we watched yesterday, he had even said, and he opened he goes, "This is mine in case things go wrong."
Right. He already planned.
You know, he
start with that first.
He should have. Yeah.
I don't think it was. I just think it was pure evilness within his soul more than it was mental health issues.
It was.
And I don't want to degrade mental health, but I think these days it's becoming too easy of an answer to everything.
It's not an answer; it's an excuse for it.
Thank
they
you.
use it as an excuse. Right. It's not an
Thank
answer.
you. That's and you know.
Oh, he's just he's that way. He's he's mentally ill.
Well, why?
We got to feel bad for him. No, get help for him now.
Exactly.
Don't wait till now because all you can do is bury him after they try to do something.
You
on his brain.
said something that really struck home for me is in a lot of these cases, people have a choice on which both of you were saying that which road to take, the good road or the bad road. All right. What about your responsibility in making those choices? Because you picked the wrong one, does that mean we're going to blame it on him being mentally unstable?
Okay, I'm going to do something here. If some dude comes to your house and he's a fugitive, he's crazy, mad, mean, whatever, not mentally ill, but he's got this, that. Do you harbor said individual?
No.
Do you know there is a statute in every state of this country that will put you in jail if you do, right?
Yeah.
Harboring a fugitive.
Yeah.
Providing aid and abet after the fact. That's another criminal charge, but you can go to jail for doing that. Why Why in this world of mental instability that we have, where we have parents, friends, other relatives who know that little Joe over here or little Robert is got some real mental challenges. Do you think that this thing prepared all of that work without anybody knowing it? Do you think that somebody didn't surprise him and see this work in action when it was happening? Somebody, somewhere knew. And by failing to step up to the plate and do the right thing, as the Unabomber's brother did, he put a stop to it as soon as he recognized a pattern and whatever, he came forward. A lot of people say, how could you do that? Well, to save lives, number one. But why would we not hold those individuals responsible, just as responsible as we would somebody who's harboring a criminal fugitive from justice? Why would we not do that? Maybe if we did hold them accountable, we would send a message that would be Lima Charlie. And you need to know that there are consequences for not stepping up to the plate. I don't care if it's your brother. I don't care if it's your son or your daughter.
Well,
We've got to do something.
everybody knows my thoughts about the national media. That's pretty much my thoughts.
That was to cover up what I'm thinking.
but
And I was.
so you go back to the prison break and the people that were harboring these inmates that escaped. Okay, they were arrested, but then you never hear nothing else. If you hear what the punishment is to these people, maybe
if there is punishment.
If there, gosh, there ought to be.
Those are the judicial people that need to go.
But the problem is so they run the story, they make big headlines out of it, and then it's dropped, and you never know what happens after the fact.
I do not condone, but I can understand the sheriff who had gotten so fed up, because I saw a lot of interviews about this sheriff who got so fed up with a judge who was using his position of power, and the sheriff just walked in and took him out.
All right, yeah.
Oh, we talking
Okay.
about Sheriff Stein, Mickey Stein.
I saw the interviews that
Yes.
an independent company did with some of the victims, willingly admitting, yes, I was a drug dealer, I was a this, I was a that, but every time I'd get in trouble, he'd say, "Come on by, we'll work it out."
And they would pay their dues, so to say. And then when it was time again, they would be arrested for some trumped up charge.
It's about time.
And they knew it was trumped up, but they knew they had to pay in order to.
You know what? If a
different.
cop did that,
Oh,
do you understand what would go down?
Well, there was
yeah, in
some.
Kinston.
If a cop does things like that, they will throw the book at him.
There were some law enforcement officers involved
Yeah.
on the party side of the case. Yes, there's been talk of that.
The thing is here, I'm not sure were they law enforcement or were they folks who worked in the separate detention facility, aka jail.
My understand that some were detention officers and they were sworn law enforcement officers also included. All those details have yet to come out.
Yeah, they will.
And what we're talking about is the murder of Judge Mullins in Kentucky by the town sheriff,
Yeah.
Mickey Stein.
Yeah.
They were in his office meeting.
And the Kentucky, and at least in this county, the sheriff is not in charge of the jail.
Right. Yeah,
It's not like it is in Onslow in North
Right.
Carolina. It's in our Constitution. The sheriff is in charge of the jail.
Well,
Not there.
I think the sheriff knew a lot of what was going on, but was kind of turning the other eye there for a while
Well,
until something big happened.
I don't know what he was. I don't know what that straw was that broke the camel's back, but that back got broken and he
Well, there is no doubt whatsoever that he is guilty of shooting and killing the judge, because we've all seen the
You don't
video
wanna
of him
put-
doing it.
Don't want to put me on that jury because if everything comes down to pass, like I said, it'd be justifiable homicide.
Yeah,
Preventative action.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, he did kill the judge,
Yeah.
but
Discharging a firearm in the city limits, I give you 30 days in jail and time served.
in the
Done.
courthouse, it was
No,
in the courthouse.
Seriously, that's
Right.
God.
I can't wait for that case to start. I'm gonna
Oh
be.
God, you'll never be here again.
Oh no, I know, because it starts after show. I've been watching the Donald Adelson case. You want to talk about? But I will say real quick, because I spent 2 years on the Karen Reed case. Okay, this Donald Adelson case, the law enforcement, the FBI, all the law type issue people that were involved in this that did the investigation. What an outstanding! They left no rock unturned. The FBI and their sting operation, their bumps is what they call them, their tickle and bump. Oh man.
Yeah.
It's been something.
Well, all of this is not going to take away any of the pain and the agony, the suffering of the kids
That's right.
that have already been hurt physically.
Absolutely.
All of the kids who've been just absolutely damaged. I just can't even imagine how they're going to deal with that. They're hopefully they do have strong faith.
They do.
Going to the school, you would think that they would.
Is faith enough?
But there's going to have to be a lot of real professional, in addition to theological intervention. There's going to have to be some very, very well-trained counselors to be involved in just that school.
Thank goodness for a counselor.
Now, I'll tell you what. I think schools across the country at this point in time probably need to invest in a team to go after events like this or prior to events like this. I think there should be two sets of people hired by us, we the people, through the school system and law enforcement. One will be trained by law enforcement, and then let these people go out and teach people, kids, what to look for in advance. And then have the counselors come in to talk to the kids about, what, you're going to hear these things that's going to happen this school year. We will get beyond it. But again, pay attention to these other guys, this other team that's going to be talking to you.
Yeah.
What you can do to help prevent this kind of
I have
stuff.
to tell you that yesterday during the course of the day when all this was happening in Minneapolis, we were all texting back and forth talking about it. I get a phone call and I look down and it's Topsail High School. My heart dropped. My grandson goes there and I'm on the list. And so it was just messages about a switch in the bus schedule. Of course, he drives, but his own vehicle. But in the midst of all that, then you get a text and it says Topsail High School. And I was like, oh God.
Well,
Scary.
Your comment about the faith, especially of the family of the two lost children, their faith in God will get them through it.
My exact words that I was thinking in my head when you said it.
Their faith will get them through that, and there's a reason why. I won't expand on it unless someone asks for it later sometime in my life, but their faith will get them through it.
I hope so. I really do. And I believe that, but that's a loss that they'll always question.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
Always.
They will never forget. Okay,
Right.
so and that's one of the things is we don't forget. Even if it's a loss of our parents, or it's a loss of our brothers or sisters, or something, it's not that. What gets you through it is that we are, and I don't mean to turn this into a religious thing. I would say that we are all. This is a stop for us.
I hear no thunder. Go
Okay,
ahead.
no. This is just a stop for us where we're at right now
Right.
in our journey. The ultimate journey is there is heaven.
Yeah.
And so I could go on, but I'm not going to.
No,
Anyway,
it's fine. It's fine. And they'll have the church family
Yes.
to help get them
Oh,
through.
well,
It's
yeah.
just it's going to be the
It's gonna be
family
rough.
that doesn't drop them.
There
That's
you go.
right.
Yeah, there you go.
Other family members will drop you. Other family friends will drop you.
Mhm.
Good point.
Your church family is not going to drop you.
Good. That is.
Yeah, I agree, Raven.
Amen.
Right.
That's a great point.
Now, a little levity from me.
All right.
If you wrong me, I may, after a period of time, forgive you.
Mhm.
I will never forget you, but by God, I will always get even. How's that for levity? Is that did I get out of this one?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, that's
This is
yeah.
Rayford. This is Rayford. Go
okay,
ahead.
let's do weather.
Make my
Weather
day.
time.
The leftover mess and those large swells that were left behind, and a lot of those swells were way down deep underwater by Hurricane Aaron, are beginning to fade away. Thank God. The marine
Yay.
forecast is looking better every day, and we should be taking advantage of it. Offshore today, I want y'all to listen up for 3 days now, right now. Offshore today, out to 20 nautical miles. Easterly winds about 5 knots.
Nice.
Seas around 2 feet. They're 8 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers flat, flatter than Twiggy. Friday, northerly winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming southeasterly in the afternoon. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Sounds and rivers light chop, diminishing to flat. Hey, Twigs. In the afternoon. Saturday, northerly winds around 5 knots, becoming southeasterly in the afternoon. Seas about 2 feet every 7 seconds. Small, far apart. Sounds and rivers remaining flat. Sunday, we'll see an increase in the winds. In other words, you have today, Friday, and Saturday to do your thing. Get on it.
Well, thank you, Jim.
Who's Jim?
Cantori.
Today, partly sunny with a high near 82. I knew that would get your good.
Where's my
All right,
pepper
let's
spray?
let's just
that's
start again.
dangerous. Okay.
Today. Now you got me so confused. Where was I? Today, partly
Came in
sunny
that way
with a high
yesterday.
near 82. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 62. Friday, sunny with a high near 86. Football Friday night.
Yeah, bobo.
Under the lights, partly cloudy with lows dipping to 65. Saturday, a chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Mostly sunny with a high near 87.
910-333-0139. Rayford's getting ready to do. I'm sorry.
That's
I
all right.
interrupted it. No, I interrupted
I
with
do it
that.
at any time during the day.
No, do.
Our little amateur radio club is kind of a large amateur radio club, in fact, and going every meeting we have additional members coming in, and we have some old members have come back. You know, an interesting thing about this club is it's just like many of them are Marine, and then they get out of the Marine Corps and they move back here. Or they are transferred back here, and then they rejoin the club, and they just pick it up all over again. So this is a cool little group, and a bunch of us a few of us get together every morning, Monday through Friday. And Randy out there at Southwest this morning, he said temperature was 57 degrees, and none of us had any rainfall at all, no traces of rain in Onslow County. Joe down at the Burrow, had 63 degrees this morning. Ken, he's a new member of the club, and he's checking in from Onslow Bay, a little community off of Rocky Run Road down here. He had 61 degrees. Dale, our president, El Presidente of the club, he's out there at the area. He had 59 degrees. His humidity was 93%. Ken's humidity was 70%. And here at the studio, 58 degrees, no rainfall, of course, and we had 98% humidity at the time. We're kind of, I got my sensors up in the air a little bit, and it's protected by the woods that surround us, not in the woods, but the woods that surround it. So humidity sometimes a bit higher. Now, we have who I think we have.
We've got the one and only, the communication specialist.
The guy that used to communicate with everybody
From the Onslow County Sheriff's Office.
in the area. Now he's up there and he's being held captive. Which cell block are you on, Trevor?
Oh, the cell block of life.
There you go. Good one.
Sometimes it just keeps you down, and sometimes you got better days than others, man. But yeah, life is just hard enough as it is.
I've never run across a communications person, and especially in law enforcement, because how stuffed shirt some of those reports can be, right? Spending all the time that you did as a journalist out there, we know how to try to unstuff those shirts when we try to make something out of the facts and figures. And you come up with some really cool stuff. You make your stuff entertaining as well.
I have never laughed so hard.
I like what you're doing there, Trevor. You're getting attention.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, as long as the sheriff's office, and Sheriff Chris Thomas and the agency and all the work that they do is getting the attention. That's the point of it. That's the main goal. And ultimately, it's a different world as we continue to live in and continue to grow in. And
it is.
Technology increases, social media increases.
Mm-hmm.
And so our idea is to lean into it, and use it as an advantage. Community policing is a big thing for us. It's a big thing for Sheriff Thomas, and always has been. And he's done a fantastic job, even before I came on, to really relate to the community, different generations, different age groups, and find out what their needs and issues are, and to meet them halfway and to help them. And that's and just social media is another tool for that kind of thing. Some don't tend to agree, but we appreciate it anyways. And our deputies are always there for them no matter what.
Well,
doesn't matter.
I know you're learning some of the 10 codes and all that sort of good stuff. You knew a few of them when you were having to cover those beats and write about what these guys were saying. So
1073s.
I know. I'll just say 5-2 to all of that, and then I'll send you a text as to what 5-2 means.
Trevor, I got my explanation this morning. So.
Because he had to ask.
I knew.
I look forward to it.
What's going on?
Nothing much. We've got another Citizens Academy coming up. I know Miss Lee enjoyed her time with it back in the fall. Fall is a great time to do it. I saw a few folks that did during the spring, and I really think the fall, as the weather gets cooler and you kind of get outside to enjoy it more, and the Citizens Role Play event that we did towards the end of the academy is a good thing too, and it's really enjoyable in that weather. But I'll tell you what, it is something that I think everybody in Onslow County of age, 18 or older, should take part in. And we've got 4 more spots. Normally about 20, 25 folks. We've got 4 more, trying to fill them in real quickly. And it is an eye-opening experience for sure. You really see the ins and outs of what the sheriff's office and law enforcement has to offer, and what they go through on a daily basis. And you get to do a lot of neat things. Go through the detention facility and take a tour there.
I love that
shoot
part.
house. You go through the simulator. The Citizens Role Play again, where you actually go through, demos of live situations that deputies would go through, like a traffic stop or there's what else? I think there's a drug stop or Lee, I know you can help me out with a few more as well, but there's
dog.
Domestic situation.
Yep.
Do they have the DWI? The DWI where you wear the goggles?
Yes, you could do that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Oh yeah, got to go on the DWI bus, the Batmobile. We call it the Batmobile. I mean, it got to go into the jail, and then we were demonstrations by the SWAT team with using the tear gas pellets and all that, and the rubber bullets. I mean, it was fascinating. Every single night was so fascinating.
I think you ought to put this group through the breathalyzer operators, the ones who have to run breathalyzers.
Right,
Let them spend a day learning the book and then do the test the next day with these individuals.
Well, I flunked when they had a young.
You would flunk this one.
They had a young female Marine that, there was 2. There was a male and a female, and they both had been given some alcohol to drink, and then you had to judge whether or not they had met the legal limit. And watching her, I say, she's fine, she's walking the line, talking the talk, doing everything. And then when they gave her the actual breathalyzer, she was over the limit. But I learned something new. You can do the eye test with the flashlight, the pencil, whatever, and it looks like they're following the pencil. But what you don't see is her eye ticking.
Yeah,
the eye itself ticking. That is a sign right there. And I missed it. I didn't know.
That's the same way you tell a real Rolex from a fake Rolex. No, seriously, because the hand on a real Rolex goes around smoothly, very smoothly.
Right.
On a fake Rolex, it's the quartz segment. It goes tick, 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 tick.
Okay.
Seriously.
But
We don't have Rafer Brown money, apparently.
yeah, really.
No,
I right there with you, Trevor. I recommend anybody, everybody, if you have the opportunity and the time, it's just Tuesday nights. What was it, 6 to 9, 3 hours a night?
6 to 9, Tuesday night. Yep, it's for 10 weeks. You get to meet, Sheriff Thomas. You get to meet the command staff.
Right.
That's the first the night. Then you go through and you actually have a potluck dinner with everybody and some of the other folks out there, the training staff, and some other supervisors that will join in as well at the end. And you tour different places. I mean, you'll go to, we didn't mention the courthouse. We didn't mention the emergency services center.
The simulator.
Dispatch, you go see them. Yep, the simulator again.
Right.
I know there's another CSI. How can we forget about CSI?
Oh, yeah.
That's always a big one.
Yeah. And the canines.
That's always big. Yep, canine demonstration.
Oh, yes.
It is fun-filled information that is just packed into 10, and we could do 20 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. I mean, we're just scratching the surface with just 10 weeks. I mean, it really could be, more information that you could ever really handle. But the main thing that we always hear afterwards is that I have a new, look on law enforcement and what they have to go through and what they deal with on a daily basis. I didn't know that it was like this, or I didn't know they had to deal with this, or you see things on TV and you hear what, but very rarely gets put out. Right for our press releases, as much as we can. It's just the tip of what happens to a deputy and what they go through and these calls on a daily basis, and folks will never see it, and they get a bigger glimpse of it at least through this academy, free academy also. Let's not forget that, very free to take. All you gotta do is sign up, and we can plug that too. But it is extremely eye opening, and people have a bigger respect for law enforcement afterwards, a different perspective on it, and I do truly think that everybody should at least take it at least once.
I took the first one, and it's still I can picture it right now in my mind. It was one, the bags of the food for the prisoners in the canteen. They were in the large garbage bags. We were in the chapel, and that's where they were. And then we were upstairs looking where the inmates were in their cells and stuff. And there was this one young lady walking around by herself, and I asked one of the detention officers, I said, "Why is she out doing it?" She doesn't play well with the other inmates.
and Trevor, I just want to throw it out there. Captain Dixon is like the head instructor, the head guy there during this academy, and you can't find a better person to sit there and listen to. His stories will have you rolling on the floor, and he's such a great instructor. So I just want to throw kudos out there for Captain Dixon.
There's so much to be said about humor, but we those of us who are very familiar with some law enforcement, you would find them in the strangest situations,
right?
Finding humor.
Well, some of the stories
some
go
people
way
don't
back
understand that.
Till I remember like crossing those paths, and it brought back so many memories. Maybe that's why I just thought he was so great. But no, I mean, really, seriously, Captain Dixon. And then when you go to meet the other parts of the office, like the jail, and you get to meet the gentleman that's in charge of the jail, Captain, what was his name?
It's a major, isn't it?
In the
Major.
jail.
Yes.
Major Strawn?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, outstanding officers. The sheriff's office has got such great leadership, and you get to meet a lot of those people. Natasha Bryson was learning to be the DWI officer, and I suppose she passed that, right? And she was teaching us about, the DWI tests and stuff. What a great individual. So you meet a lot of people there that I really look up to.
Did you learn how to get by it? To pass it without being
no, but
okay. Just
I think my most challenging experience during this whole thing was when we did the role playing, and I'm not good at role playing.
I
And
was there for that one. I remember I came up to you and your partner first.
yeah,
And poor Lee, I can't remember what it was or what y'all were doing, but it was, and the instructor was just like, that was an immediate fail.
Oh,
it was. Yeah.
Whoa.
It was immediate fail, but I don't like to role play, but and I should have known better, but I did not do my part. And then we had to do the simulated stop on a pickup truck, and we had to haul some guys out. And searching the gentleman, I felt so uncomfortable searching him. And of course, that was an immediate fail on that one too, because we never saw the drugs.
You had a problem with the pat down?
It was embarrassing.
And that's a little weird because you've got everybody watching. I believe even Sheriff and Colonel George were out there watching as well. So now you've got the big spotlights on you.
Yes.
And it is when you see it and you go through it and you experience it, it is even a traffic stop can be nerve wracking, especially for a new deputy or somebody just out of FTO.
Yeah.
And it's you have to really have those de-escalation tactics. You've got to be prepared for everything.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have your mind focused in, lasered in at all times, and that is a very difficult part that people don't understand when they experience a law enforcement interaction with a police officer or a deputy. Is that that is what's going through their mind at all times, is having to go through every possible scenario that could play out in this one instance. And it is.
I got a suggestion. You can make a suggestion for this class that's coming up. You ready for this one? Get a little bit of dope, packaged up dope, and slip it into one of the individual's pockets or purse or whatever. Just drop it in there for the drug dog demonstration and see what kind of reaction you get.
Well, we got to see the dogs search out dope.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
depending on the dog demonstration, I know we've got one that does explosives. I'm not sure which one y'all had.
We had the drug.
Could have been Cohen's dog, that does the drugs.
That would be fun.
There is Penland's that does the explosives, and that one's an interesting one. They'll hide the explosive somewhere, or the mock explosive.
No, I'd want to put the drugs on one of your.
What I was trying
I'll let you pass that off to Sheriff Thomas.
What I was trying to not say about patting down the officer was he did have a bulge, and it was drugs in his pocket, but the location where they were, I didn't feel comfortable with patting them down. So I failed.
Sure, and that's, again, another scenario during, live training or live experiences that deputies, have to keep up with. And
she had witnesses this time.
It made me appreciate what a female sheriff's deputy does. And what a female has to do.
Well, wait a minute now. What about the male with dealing with the females, which is going to be most often? I know that. But what happens when you're looking for guns and you're concerned about a gun? Now, who you going to call?
And you can't sit there and wait, right? I mean, there's so many things that you learn that you don't think about.
Back of the hand.
Right. Back of the hand. Right. There's so many things, so it's well worth the time.
It would be great. You only have 4 openings now, about
4 openings. It will begin next week, if I remember correctly. If not the following week, I'll have to double check that. And we can plug it in later on as well. Actually, you know what? If I can probably check it while we're on the phone. How about that?
And if they want to sign up, they can do it online, correct?
Right.
They can sign up. So several ways to do it. We've got the notification going through the top of our app at the moment right now. You can go to that and find a link. You can go on our website and under information and resources, look for Citizens Academy. And it's an application that you fill out and you email to Captain Dixon. It's all it is. Again, it's a free class. You just have to go through that and the application process and send it in. There's only 4 of them left. And I'm trying to find at the moment right now. Let me see when. Here we go. Nope, that's fall 2024.
September 2nd.
Come again?
It starts the 2nd. That's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay, so we are right. Okay. Yeah,
Next
because
Tuesday.
Captain Dixon was telling me he was going on vacation this weekend, and I couldn't remember if it was him coming back and he was preparing for it, or if it was the following weekend. So,
I looked at
Yes, sir.
I looked at your app real quick, and I'm an anti-apper, but this is about one of the only apps that I have, and I use it every day.
Yes, Trevor.
I
He
appreciate
downloaded
it,
that
yeah.
app.
If you can convert me, Trevor.
Yeah. Good
Oh.
job.
I mean,
I
the
love
app
this
is
app.
just another scratching the surface, thing that we've got going on right here. There's many other ways that we could reopen it up to the public, and we have to really hone in on what the needs are for Onslow and the citizens first before we figure out what they need in the app. But at the same time, I mean, the inmate searches, the sex offender map, the traffic alerts, policy. I mean, I don't think a lot of people take advantage of the policy and forms where they have a question about something. They can go on there and find that policy or that form or that answer in the app. I mean, they can. Then it kind of narrows down a phone call for them or an email or whatever. And I mean, there's tons of things. There's absolutely tons of things. It has been very successful so far.
Concealed carry information there. You've got child, or you got sex offenders listed. If we got them in our neighborhood, just punch it up, look at your map.
Yep, you can check
find
right
them.
there.
You can check your
Full
neighbor down the
resource
street.
Officer profiles. Yeah.
So it's
say.
a great. This is not one of. This is the best one that I've seen.
I have to do it. I have to say it. But your humor, you're killing me with these memes that you're putting on there.
Yeah, I get
the one with the Cracker Barrel meme.
I get that every day from her.
That was so good.
Trevor, let me.
Wait. And then the Taylor Swift engagement.
Oh, Lord.
That was priceless. Go ahead, Chris.
So which one?
Taylor Swift.
Who?
Engagement picture.
Yeah.
Take a knee.
You hate to see that with Travis Kelce. You really do hate to see that. You'd think you'd have a better, outcome for a veteran, but nope. You got to put that knee down, Travis. You got to put that knee down.
Once he spikes her, it'll be 5 years, and they'll be done.
Once he what?
Spikes her. That's his. Yeah. Trevor knows what I'm talking about.
I got it.
Yeah,
you know what I was thinking.
Trevor.
The breakup album is going to be unbearable.
It's going to be a big seller. All right. Well, I have a message from someone that wants me to ask you. Don't shoot the messenger here. What happened
I'll do it for you.
to your Havelock Rams last week?
Ran into West Craven.
Ooh, let me
ran
tell
into
y'all
West
what.
Craven.
Thank goodness that we don't play Jacksonville anymore. They lost a lot.
Oh,
And when I say a lot, they lost just about every starter outside of 3 or 4 on the defensive side.
Wow.
Oh boy.
And man, and it's not juniors that are coming up to fill those positions; it's sophomores
Yeah. And then
who are turned into juniors, not juniors who turn into seniors. They are young, they are very inexperienced, and I love Havelock. I went to New Bern. I'll always be a Bear, but I do love Havelock. They will struggle this year. They will be 0-2 to start the year. They might even. I'm not even sure if they'll win a non-conference game. I don't think at this point, after watching what happened last week, that they will beat Tarboro or Rose, and they're not going to beat New Bern.
Well, they're not going to beat. They're not going to beat Tarboro. I can tell you that right now. But in their defense, West Craven's number 14, or was number 14 in the state when they played last week, and to hold them to 7
West
points.
Craven is good.
Yeah.
And Havelock's defense.
Well, they got a good defensive team.
Well,
They do. They're still one of the better defenses in the state.
Yeah.
At least on the eastern side of the state. But from my understanding, West Craven also lost, I think, a top running back and a top receiver to transferring schools right before the season started too. So they didn't even have 2 of their best weapons. And this was a game that was won in the trenches too, and it was one mistake that was going to happen. Who was going to make that mistake? And Havelock made that mistake.
No.
But they could not move the ball on offense. There's a sophomore quarterback. He will be has some growing pains to go through this year. You might see it later on. He finally starts to click for him, but right now he will go through those growing pains, and the Rams will struggle. I mean, they really will.
We hope you tune in just a little while, because
Top.
Miller Time will be on, and
He already knows. He knows who that question was from.
Oh, was it really from Chris?
Oh, you doubted that?
Oh, wow.
You should have
known. I'm not talking to him in a while, but yeah. Oh, yeah. Havelock is, man, it is a different team. They are not deep. They are not big. It is not the Havelock that we are used to seeing. So they may. I think they were picked to win the conference, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I don't think they're going to win the conference.
Wow.
Richland, Dixon, Croatan, Swansboro. I do not think they are going to win that conference.
Okay.
I truly think that somebody, and I don't know who, but I just don't think it's going to be Havelock.
Marty will tell you Richlands.
Richlands is looking good so far.
So we've heard Dixon also looking pretty good.
They're looking
so far.
really good.
Didn't Croatan and Swansboro also win their
Yes,
first
they
game?
did. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, Northside's also in that conference too. Northside. Let's watch out for
Well,
Northside.
that's going to be the big matchup this week.
Yes,
Jacksonville and
we will
Northside.
be.
We're going to travel over there, and why don't you come and sit with us?
Over there, it's quite a question.
I
I
know
gotta
that.
go to New Bern.
Well, you don't have to. You could just phone it in.
He'll follow Chris.
But yes, that's true. I'd rather not be there this weekend. I'll tell you because gosh, New Bern looked really good against New Hanover. They went
Yeah.
into New
Do we
Hanover
play New Bern?
and put a
Yes.
whooping on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm,
maybe they'll be weakened by the time we get to them.
maybe
All
it'll be
right, Trevor,
tight.
you take care, sir. Be safe
Have
up
fun.
there.
Have a good, blessed day, Trevor.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Appreciate it as
you.
always.
Thank you,
And
Trevor.
your 5-2 explanation is in your text
I
message.
saw it. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
See ya.
Appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. Needed some levity this morning.
I'm
So-
gonna tell you what, I'm just so impressed with
Oh.
all the changes that have occurred or the new things that have been implemented.
You know, I want you to go back though. I want you to go back to 2014
yeah,
and look back from 2014 backwards,
right.
many, many decades.
Yes.
And a very few short years, 11 years, we have come through and made some tremendous strides. We are no longer just a good old boy
Right.
sheriff's office. Not to take away from anything that was occurring, because I'll tell you what, one of the smartest investigators I've ever dealt with, he could talk to people,
Right.
and he was, I'll call him famous, but people would just open up to him, and they didn't even know what they were doing.
Well, you bring up a good thing.
And that was Bill Woodward, for folks that don't know.
Lee, you should have just shot the guy, Lee. I can still hear those words. But you brought up a good point. Like, I think it started with Sheriff Miller.
It did.
He started having, remember all the town halls that he was
Yep.
having?
Meet the
And
people. Let's find out what the people
that
want.
was until COVID hit. And then there was also.
You're blaming him for that now?
No, I'm just saying that COVID ruined that.
Sorry, Hans.
You know, they couldn't do the town halls for a while. And then I think he was very much involved with the trainings for security. Remember when all that came out? Back when there was a mass shooting at some church, and then the county and the city got together and they started holding classes for the churches, with the churches, on what to look for, doing security and stuff like that. So, but yeah, he brought a lot of changes to the sheriff's
He did.
office, bringing it back up to where it was kind of current with this century. And then, of course, we have Sheriff Thomas now. And I think having a communication specialist was probably the biggest thing right now that I see, because there's
when we
so
talked
much
to him
transparency now.
before what he was running,
Yes.
one of the first things he told me at that time was he wants a good person to be able to tell what we're doing,
Absolutely.
because we don't have time or the ability to do
I
that.
think that was such a wise it's time to pop the
Okay.
top.
We're going to do what now? You ready?
Okay.
It's Miller time.
Chris,
Good morning, my friends. How's everybody
Good
doing this
morning. How are you?
that's your cue.
Yeah, good morning. I tell you what, I got a tough act to follow when Trevor calls.
You guys,
He's doing a good job and did a good job with us. And,
Mhm.
does a good job with the Havelock radio. But yeah, definitely wanted to give him a little bit of a hard time about the Havelock loss last week.
It was all his fault, wasn't it?
I'm surprised he didn't pick up on that question right away when I said someone text.
I'm sure he knew. I'm sure he knew, and I think he's downplaying the Havelock Rams a little bit. I think they'll be just fine once they get in the conference play, considering who else is in that conference. So I think they'll be just fine.
You're talking about the 2026 season, right?
That's in a couple months.
This season, he's right. They may struggle the first few games of the season, but Havelock will. Let's just say there's some very favorable matchups going forward into the rest of the second half of the season. So I think the Rams will be just fine.
Now you're giving Jacksonville only 3 points. Is that what I'm hearing over Northside?
I'll take 3 over losing.
Is that what you're saying? That's too close for a call.
No, I think I do have Cardinals winning. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, 34-27, something like that. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. Northside is coming off a big victory over White Oak last week, and the emotions are going to run high. Everybody's going to be excited. That's what high school football is about.
It is.
Is that exciting? So I think we're ready for some legalized brutality sponsored by Social Friday night.
I do really miss my 10 years at Northside as their announcer, because I can tell you what, when those opposing teams would come in and I'd go, Monarch fans, get on your feet and make some noise. Well, of course, I got in trouble later on in the playoffs for that. But anyway, they would make some noise.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Now, we can offer you a position up there in the stands, beginning when we go back home for Cardinals.
Yeah, because we had no clue what was going on. None.
Yeah, Chris, we were in La La Land. We had nothing.
We had no PA, nothing. We didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, well, Ken Lavelle, the local FCA guy, had been doing it the last couple of seasons and did a great job. But I actually spoke with him the other day and said, "Hey, how come you weren't at the Jacksonville game?" And he was at the Southwest game, so I ran into him there. And he says, "Look, I just I kind of need to start doing my fellowship and roll FCA role at various different games."
He's not coming back.
Yeah, he's going to be doing his FCA thing on Friday night. So good for him. He's if anybody knows Ken Lavelle, he a true role model. A big guy, a strong guy, but devoted to his faith and really uses that to try to teach the kids, motivate them through their faith and to become better athletes, but also students and young men and women as well. So
hats off.
A true role model, and I think all the kids and even a lot of the coaches look up to him.
Would you do me a favor when you see him? Ask him if we change the time of the game. Would he consider?
I know. It was so good.
Doing it.
Hey, if we change the start of high school football games to at least 6:30, which the Wilmington area did a couple years ago, I would not complain one bit.
I wouldn't either.
I remember the days when high school football would start at 7:30.
Yep.
Oh, I remember when it started at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. Yep. And so the 7 o'clock starts really help us in the media. It makes for a little bit of an easier night. But if we if games wanted to start a little bit earlier, then I wouldn't complain one bit.
Well, I'll tell you what. The days when they started at 8 o'clock, that was fine.
What?
Except for Nelson Calhoun, who had to process film when he got back.
Yeah.
Before he could do anything else.
And
that in itself is a certain amount of time, and you ain't going to speed it up. It's just going to happen.
Well, Chris, we have Chris over here that can take Ken's place.
I was going to give Mr. Marks a shout out and say he can do it, and he can go Cardinals.
Just start practicing because I got handcuffs. I'm taking you with me tomorrow.
Look, you could be the live and local calling the game right there in the stands. Yeah, we'll be the PA.
My God, if we could steal Trevor, the two of them together would be oh my Lord, what a matchup that would be.
I would know their names.
And Chris, my friend, I have to. If you ever go back to the booth and do the PA and everything, the cool thing is to play some cool music, like during breaks and before games and things like that.
Appropriately cool music.
No AC/DC and no Guns N' Roses.
No,
I'm tired of people playing AC/DC and Guns N' Roses before games.
Yeah.
Oh, we had
those bands were not cool then. They're not cool now.
You go get them. Chris.
Give me Metallica. Give me Bon Jovi.
Yes,
Give me bands like that. Nirvana. They're cool, but no Guns N' Roses and AC/DC. And Kim Foster, if you're listening, I'm talking about.
Hey, Tim. Well, Rayford, tell them about what we had to listen to last Friday.
Yeah. First of all, there was somebody over. I was up in the booth changing out some batteries and stuff, and this is before the game. And somebody over there was hollering over a phone, "Hey, get back up here! The PA's not working." So I will walk outside and come running up the steps. I got out of his way, one big tall dude, and he goes in there. So for the next 20 minutes, we heard the same. It sounded like an album track.
It was
like we used to do. It was nothing but rap, and they all sounded exactly alike. But I think they were different tracks on the same LP, on the same side.
It just ran over.
Did they still have LPs? Anyway, that's what it sounded like. Just rap, and it was like, really? Now I know why they wouldn't let me bring my gun, because I'd have shot the speakers.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We were taking like best, like who wants to just run and jump from the top and just latch onto that speaker
cable
and take it down.
Yeah.
Well, my hat's off to you, Chris. I got to tell you, because I'm following you on Twitter, and
X.
Chris is just, X. I'm sorry,
okay,
X.
I'm sorry.
I just know it's Chris Miller. I know his number.
Do you like his post? Are you liking his post?
Yeah.
You better be doing that anytime. You better be hitting that hard.
The man is he's out at Southwest doing the Richland Southwest game. And in the meantime, he's got friends sending him
the other Chris Millers.
Yeah, sending him updates and stuff. And in some cases, he gets names of the players that have done a score.
Not from me. Not if I send him any information.
You didn't have it. We won't even go there. We won't.
I don't know what the names are. I was shooting pictures.
They're in their rosters.
I
got to look at the roster.
Well, if you print it off, yes.
I didn't do that.
Okay.
Well, Robbie had it.
It's not called roster. It's called rooster.
Rooster. What? Right.
Okay, I'm thinking of every possibility here, and I can't use any of them. So why is it called Rooster?
No, y'all never seen the movie, the Major League movies with Charlie Sheen and
yes,
some of those. And one of the scenes is the guy finds out he makes the team, and he's kind of a nimwit, kind of a not so bright. He goes, "Oh my god! I made the rooster."
Oh, Lord. Okay. All right, I'll refer to the rooster.
Wow, thanks. So what's your other picks, Chris? Can you tell everybody?
Well, obviously the Jacksonville North Side game is the big game, and I think it's going to be a great ball game, and I'll be there. And, I'll be there. John Allhouse will be there to take pictures, and my photographers have been a godsend, and they're just a big help, and then but I will actually have another photographer, Mike Hackett, as you guys know, who's been helping me out the last year or so, and like I said, just an interesting guy, cool guy. Did the movies, did TV shows in the Wilmington area. Just wants to go out there and help. Was one of our full-time photographers back in the 80s and early 90s, and like I said, did movies, did the Conjuring movie, and some other big features, and just been helping me out the last year or so. And so he'll do the White Oak Richlands game for some photos, and then I'll get to hopefully keep my fingers crossed and get the results from parents and and Chris Marks and everybody else that following along. So we'll make it work and get the results in Friday night, early Saturday morning as best we can.
Yes, and thank you for tweeting out what you do, because it is so much easier to follow Chris on X to see what the other schools are doing. And I'm sitting there all night long hitting refresh.
Well, what we were doing is Lee was following you, and then she was telling us what was going on at our game because we certainly didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know.
And-
we were just like, what just happened? I don't know. But okay, so do you remember, Rayford, the score last year between Northside and Jacksonville?
Nope.
Yeah, 64-0. I think it was like 40-something nothing at halftime. If
Running
I'm not
clock.
mistaken.
And that's where we ran out the clock during the second half,
Yeah.
remember?
Doesn't stop for anything.
Okay. I remember doing that, but I didn't know it was Northside. I don't recall it being
I
Northside.
will let the folks at Northside know this. Have plenty of popcorn available, or Rayford is in.
If not, I will go to my Jeep and I will start popping popcorn in the back of my Jeep, and I will be selling it in the parking lot.
And the weather is really, as you noticed, the weather is really starting to get a little cool and crisp. So it may be a little cool Friday night. So bring your hot chocolate, Rayford, or that liquid courage that you call hot chocolate.
I understand there's a good possibility that there may be some snow flurries, so you might want to bring a jacket too.
You all might want to just stay home. That way there'll be plenty of popcorn to go around.
Mhm.
Believe it or not, there was one covered a state championship game in Chapel Hill about 7-8 years ago. It was East Duplin, and it started snowing, and that was a different experience. And did have one playoff game maybe about 4 or 5 years ago where it got so cold that it did start flurrying. And that was pretty cool too. Just literally cool. Just because we never really get snow, and when we do, it's usually January and February. So that was pretty neat. You don't ask for it all the time, but just some of those different experiences that you get in this business.
Back in the days when we had climate change and real climate change, we used to get snow before Christmas and around Thanksgiving. It was not uncommon to have some snow right here.
I just want to know, Chris, are you going to the wedding? Did you get your invitation?
It's in the mail.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's going to be the most and most talked about wedding since
Luke and Laura.
Luke and Laura.
Some of the royal weddings that.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so I'm sure Netflix will have some sort of documentary, and ESPN will try to broadcast it. But it's okay, good for them, and I hope it does well. And
It ain't happened yet. Okay.
Kelsey will probably play his last year this year, and we'll see how he does. And then, my 12-year-old, let's just say she's been a Chiefs fan the last 3 years or so. So she's already counting down to the next album release.
Well, I will bring her something back because I will be in Dallas Thanksgiving Day for the Chiefs and the Cowboys. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I know you got that as a gift.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
did.
right. I
Yeah.
remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my
Nice.
12-year-old and my wife, they went to. I had the pleasure and the privilege of driving them to Raleigh, and they a couple weeks ago they were at the. I guess it used to be PNC, but I guess it's the Lanano Center now in Raleigh.
Lenovo Center.
Lenovo. Yep. They went to a Katy Perry concert, so they had a good time there.
I'm sorry.
That pretty well
Just-
sums up my feeling too.
Actually, I'm just,
follow
I'm
Katie.
here's how much I care about it. I'm more interested in their prenup. Kelsey
I
and
just-
Thou
Taylor.
shall not have. No,
I just can't wait for the breakup record to come out.
Well, dang, Lee, can we be a little bit more encouraging?
No,
Well, you know the history.
he's just being realistic.
No, I mean, good for them. Good for them. But my gosh.
Wake up.
Save the receipts for the rings. Is all
I
I can
think-
say.
I think Chris hit it on the head when he said the Luke and Laura, like the Luke and Laura wedding. I mean, the world stopped for that. So,
All right, Chris.
Mine did.
We do thank you, sir, as always.
Thanks,
as
buddy.
always.
All right, thanks, my friend.
Bye.
Anything you need to
birthday,
pass
buddy.
on to any of our listeners?
No, I think I already made it, but I'll make that statement again. It worked so good last time. I'll say it again, that Friday night high school legalized brutality, sponsored by Socialism.
There you go.
Thank you, Chris.
Bye. 8 students at a Carteret County Middle School sent to the hospital after school officials say they ate a candy-like substance provided by another student.
Yep.
Happened yesterday,
Not
about
good.
1:30 in the afternoon at Broad Creek Middle School. The school system says about 10 students were involved. 8 went to the hospital, and they were treated. The Carteret County Sheriff's Office says those students sent to the hospital appear to be fine. They said okay. Investigators are waiting for the results of forensics testing of the substance, and then the fun begins. Meanwhile, parents everywhere, make sure your kids understand the dangers of eating anything that anybody, any individual, adult, or other kid are offering you. No sharing, no nothing. And to that, my one-liner, what a crappy world we, the adults, have allowed to develop right before our eyes.
Well, you know, that happened in January 2023 here at Northwoods Park Middle School.
Yep.
When some gummies were handed out, and quite a few got sick over that.
Parents, if you're so irresponsible that you can't control your own mess, that your kids get hold of it, shame on you. You do not need to be calling yourself a parent. You're a caretaker, and that's the best you should be called, and you're not doing a good job of that. Okie dokie, offshore today out to 20 nautical miles. Easterly winds around 5 knots, seas about 2 feet, 8 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers are flat. Northerly winds on Friday, 5 to 10. Southeasterly in the afternoon tomorrow, seas 2 to 3. Sounds and rivers of light chop, diminishing to flat in the afternoon. Saturday, wind's going to be out of the north again, 5 knots, becoming southeasterly in the afternoon. 2 footers every 7 seconds. Sounds and rivers remaining flat. And then Sunday, it's going to be a change in the weather, a change in the attitude.
Okay, then.
Not bad, but it's just
It's going to stay cool,
it's
though,
gonna,
right?
It's going to be an end to this great offshore weather we got.
Today, partly sunny with a high near 82. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 62. Friday, sunny with a high near 86. Friday night football, weather partly cloudy with lows dipping down to 65. And Saturday, a slight chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms, mostly sunny with a high near 87.
You've been to New Hampshire? Spent any time there?
No.
No.
You've read about New Hampshire?
Yes, I have.
Okay. You know, it's one of those 2 states that I keep getting them confused. Which one is which? Vermont and New Hampshire.
Ah.
I did in school.
One has
anyway.
syrup and the other one has.
One had the Bob Newhart show.
Okay.
Right.
Now, this is one that I read yesterday. I never gave any consideration to this, but it's happening everywhere. Federal agents with the DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, Wednesday, they said 27 people have been arrested in Franklin, New Hampshire. The
Wow.
feds arrested them in a sweeping narcotics bust that seized fentanyl and methamphetamine tied to a Mexican cartel, the Sinaloa, whatever. Investigators said they supply chain traced back through Lawrence, Massachusetts. That's a city long identified as a fentanyl hub for New England. Massachusetts, New Hampshire, they're right there, like close together. Investigators said the supply chain, they're trying their best to interrupt it. The takedown targeted cartel-backed networks fueling the nation's fentanyl crisis, especially in that particular region. Photos released by DEA New England showed suspects in handcuffs outside a home with bundles of seized cash. I saw that picture. We're talking about enough cash to buy me enough computers to last me for several lifetimes. Okay.
Please.
So they need to turn their backs for just a minute and let me
Right.
just, take advantage of the opportunity. The cartel has long dominated the fentanyl trade into the United States. That's what the federal officials have said. Lawrence has repeatedly been flagged as a key distribution point. Lawrence, Massachusetts. I've heard about it because I've talked to people on the radio who live there. That's where their home QTH was. You'll learn. But Lawrence, Massachusetts, I don't know of any other claim to fame for Lawrence, Massachusetts. Do you? But the feds say it's a hub for fentanyl distribution.
Didn't realize.
Who would have done it?
It must be coming in with the lobsters.
I don't know how it's coming in. Fentanyl remains the nation's leading cause of overdose deaths. 70,000 fatalities a year now.
Wow.
Well,
That investigation is still going on. More arrests. If you're from that area, practice putting your hands in front of you, but then put them behind you because that's where they're going to go.
yeah. Speaking of putting your hands behind you and going off probably to the pokey that some people are interesting about the mayor of Washington, D.C., or the District of Columbia, and how that the federal law enforcement has helped reduce crime even more.
Yeah.
Amazing.
How about that?
Amazing. There was no crime there. We don't have a crime problem.
When are they up for
Remember?
re-election? Is it this coming year?
Crime is down even more than what she
Yes.
said it was, which of course they said it wasn't. But
They said there was no crime. That we don't have a crime problem here.
I like
100 murders they just celebrated for this year.
My granddaughter is in D.C. and my son-in-law right this very moment.
Did you get him a vest to wear?
I told him, he said, well, if you hear any news stories, hopefully, we won't be a part of them. And I said, I'm packing up now. And I will be packing.
910-333-0139. Give us a call and let us know what you talk about.
Did you see where the president's authorized 600,000 student visas for most of them for Chinese students to come into our colleges and universities? We talked a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Well, a Chinese doctor has been busted in Texas for trying to smuggle cancer-related research where he was working back to China.
Mm-hmm.
Yam Hai Lee, a 35-year-old guy employed by the MD Anderson Cancer Center since 2022, confronted at an airport by Customs and Border Protection people on July 9th. The office from the district attorney said that the authorities working in coordination with Homeland Security investigations found evidence Lee was attempting to take sensitive medical information abroad during an inspection of his belongings.
Ooh.
He was at the airport. Lee is charged with theft of trade secrets and tampering with a government record. The theft charge carries a penalty of 2 to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000, 10 grand. The attorney's office said Lee was staying in the U.S. on a non-immigrant research scholar exchange, a visa provided by the State Department. What is that all about? The research he was working on was funded through the National Institutes of Health and the Department of Defense. Chinese doctor, 35 years old, working at a facility to learn things, takes the cancer research that had not been published or anything else, and it was taking it back to China for their benefit. But court documents show that Lee uploaded sensitive data to his personal Google Drive while he was working for MD Anderson. And when the institution found out about it and confronted him, he deleted the files.
My goodness.
Never fear. Lee also uploaded the data to a file hosting service based on a Chinese server. On that storage drive, investigators found unpublished research data and articles representing trade secrets, including material restricted confidential research data, writings, drawings, and models. Lee was receiving grant funding through the National Natural Science Foundation of China and was performing research for the first affiliated hospital of Chongqing Medical University before and during his employment with MD Anderson, yet did not disclose that conflict of interest to his U.S. employers. Lee posted a $5,100 bond.
Wow. Before you
and was released. He had to surrender his passport as though that will stop him from leaving this country. I'll tell you, factually, not even confidentially, the spies, this guy's a spy. Spies will show up. They have backup plans. You think that the passport that here you go, federal authorities is the only one he had? He's got a book of them. He's got a suitcase full of them, different names, different countries.
Like Steve.
Yeah, before we go to Steve, I want to throw out there real quick. We just got a traffic alert from the Onslow County Sheriff's Office app. Drivers traveling on Richlands Highway near Pony Farm Road and the Northwest Corridor Boulevard, that intersection right there where you turn to go down to the government building, may experience traffic delays. This crews are working the scene of a multi-car collision. Please use alternate. Did I say wreck?
No, you said collision. I was explaining. It's a wreck.
Yeah.
You were right. It's a collision, but it's a wreck.
Please use alternate routes and proceed through the area with caution. Traffic alert. So, okay, I'm done.
Steve, I thought maybe the sheriff's office was chasing you when you were calling us to tell us the story. What's going on?
Yeah, they wouldn't have to chase me. I don't run very fast.
Steve just sit down on the corner and wait for him.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm one of them. You got me. Go ahead. You ain't going to have to chase me very far.
Yeah, can you see me in my Jeep trying to outrun them? If I can find some sand that's real thin that they couldn't get through, I got you. But other than that, y'all got me on the highway. What's up?
Oh, I was listening this morning, and I've been thinking about it recently, is the deployment of the National Guard to Washington, D.C. And, evidently the reports are is that crime is down, since they've done that.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts on it are is that's, that would be expected. That's something I believe we've always known, is that martial law really has an effect on stamping out crime.
Mm-hmm.
But up to just like a year ago, we considered that the most un-American thing we could do.
Still do. I do.
And it's actually a violation of the Constitution to do it. So I have a little trouble digesting this as being, the right path. I mean, I get it's going to be effective. That's not something anybody's ever denied, since the beginning of this country, that type of, thing is effective.
What would have made this unnecessary? What could have been done to make this not happen?
I'll tell you what really trips me up on it is normally, we've sent National Guard in before for different reasons, but there's always a singular event that you can point to.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them may have been justified, some of them may have been questionable if they were justified. There's always a singular event. And with this one, it's not a singular event. This is a problem that's been an ongoing problem.
Right.
There was no riot. There was no nothing like that. So now the new criteria is that anywhere they see fit, they can put armed troops on the street,
mm-hmm.
and they get to decide what is, necessary and not. No longer is it the Constitution. No longer is it Congress. No longer is it, it's one person gets to decide this. And I have trouble with that. Not necessarily with the person that's doing it now or what they're doing now, but giving that power to that office, what might somebody do with that in the future?
Well,
how far down that road can they go?
Well, and you're right, Steve. Now, that one person in the past, and it was events, Martin Luther King, it happened with Kennedy did it. I believe did FDR do it? I know Kennedy sent.
FDR had all sorts of troops involved at the beginning of World War II. Yeah.
But, for Martin Luther King,
and they had singular events.
Singular events. Yeah.
Right. And this doesn't have that aspect of it. This is something that they're talking about applying to different cities all over the place. I don't know if y'all seen it. Tom Tillis did an interview with CBS this past week, about an hour-long interview. And it was a very interesting interview to listen to, and he brought this subject up, and he said, the same thing. He said it's effective, but where do we go from here?
Yeah, at what price is it effective?
And he said the other thing that troubles him about it is that, why they don't even mention places like Memphis. Tennessee actually sent National Guard from Tennessee to Washington to participate in this. Why didn't they send their National Guard to Tennessee if that's the right thing to do? Why didn't they send them to Memphis? yeah, it seems like it's I don't know.
Okay.
I don't even know how to label it.
Well,
it just don't seem right.
The argument that I see on social media is if local and do the things needed to protect their citizens, then the federal government's going to step in to do it. That's what I've read. Now, I'm not saying that's what I believe, but
and I get that statement, but once you start to dissect that, once again, if you're going to enact martial law, yeah, we all know that's going to have an effect. It's not going to stop crime, but it's going to have a big impact on it. But in America, we don't do that.
But is that considered martial law?
Yeah.
I was going to say,
It's not declared martial law, but it is in effect martial law.
I was going to say, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it what you want to, but there would be very little difference between the two. So, yeah, like I say, I think about in the future, what if in the next election cycle, Democrats take over and they start cramming their agenda down our throat? If you have to attain a license for something, it's a privilege, not a right. Would y'all agree with that?
Yeah, pretty much in most cases. I can't think of one that is not.
Yeah.
Okay. What if Democrats take over and they decide the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment, but we're going to revoke all federal firearm license?
Then they better get the National Guard out.
My point is it's political overreach, and I worry when I see any of them doing that. Even if I agree with what they're doing, they're getting too much power. Is my thought on it.
It's a lot of argument on both sides on this. When you have people being murdered every day in D.C., when you can't even walk down the street without the fear of getting beat up and mugged, yeah, I mean, I'm all for them cleaning up the streets. And then,
I agree with you on that.
Right. And then if we have other cities that need that,
like Chicago,
then let's go. Let's go to Chicago.
Well, here's the way that I see it. As far as if local law enforcement, they are, when you examine it, they are covering up, as we know a captain was doing in the Metro Police Department. Mm-hmm. You're covering up the facts and not letting the world know what's really happening in D.C. And yes, that the crime rate is really out of control, but that's not it's out of control because you're not controlling it. It's not out of control because it's beyond your ability to do it, but your ability has been somehow, somewhere hampered. Because I do not believe that they combined everything from whatever law enforcement agencies are that work in D.C., and you got a lot of federal agencies there that still work and do criminal investigations in District of Columbia, North Carolina, all over the place, right? They've got and they don't have to be federalized. They are already federalized. But you've got all of these people there. So who has fallen down on the job? Is it the police chief? Is it the council of the District of Columbia? Is it the mayor? Somebody did not do the job. Or there's enough resources in D.C., my God, to clean up D.C. anytime that they wanted to do it. But they, for some reason or another, did not want to do it. That is the problem. The homeless situation, it's a blight. This is the nation's capital. This is our nation's capital. This is where people, like I've said many times, if I were to go to France, I would certainly want to go to the capital. If I go to England, I certainly want to go to London. I want to see these places.
You know what? You should be able to feel safe.
And I should feel safe going there. But when you're reading and then you find out that, like they did some years ago in Florida, other countries equivalent of our State Department were putting out travel alerts to their citizens. German citizens were being attacked. Tourists were being attacked in Florida, targeted back in the 80s. Do you remember any of that stuff? I mean, Florida was getting a bad deal, but they were justified getting it because crime was out of control. So they did something about it. They cleaned it up, but they did it without federal intervention.
Right. And I was going to say, show me a major city that doesn't have a crime problem. Even between where I live and where y'all live, there's a major difference in the amount of crime.
Yeah, well, there's a crime.
30 minutes apart.
A crime problem is one thing, but if nobody is addressing the problem, then that gets to be a local situation, and the local situation needs to be fixed. But that should be done from within. That should be undertaken by the local jurisdiction, period. If they cannot refuse to do it, then there's something wrong, and then you might want to start taking a look at it.
Well, there's some logic in that, but then the natural questions you would ask is why are we ignoring the most dangerous cities? Why are we starting at number like 8 or 10 on the list?
I do not have a problem with your logic there, because how many years that I've been doing this, that I've been screaming about Chicago? Go put it bookmarked in your computer, heyjackass.com. Look at it every week. Look at the murder rate. Look at the weekend killings, the shooting. Look at where the individuals got shot, in the butt, in the face, or whatever. Look at the number of police-involved shootings, which there are not that many compared to, Chicago. My God. But then look at the number of arrests that the Chicago PD makes for those killings, and look at the conviction rate.
Well, let me ask a question.
That's the problem.
Do you feel like it's a responsibility of the federal government to clean up these states, or do you feel like it's a responsibility of the state government to make that decision? Like, let's just say Raleigh, though I don't put Raleigh in this literally, but let's just say Raleigh has a high crime rate. Do we leave it upon the responsibility of our governor to clean up Raleigh, or do we go to the federal government and say we need help? What is the state's responsibility in this?
And I think that's where, again, on the social media, you watch, I'm following these things, and they're saying, okay, well, the city couldn't do it, the state couldn't do it, and now the federal government's gone.
But did the state try? I mean, I understand completely what Steve's saying, but if the if like say Tennessee sends National Guard to DC and help, that's their decision to do that, is it not? Are you trying to say that the president ordered the Tennessee National Guard to go up there? And if Tennessee sent their National Guard troops up to D.C. to help clean that up, they should have started in their own backyard first, in my opinion.
Well, and then again, when you look at this whole deal, now we're talking about one very unique area. It is under a lot of federal control. Washington, D.C. is a federal location and has a civilian that can control a part of what happens in D.C. Mm-hmm. The vast majority of the stuff that goes on in D.C. is under federal control. Right. I mean, look at the federal buildings. You got the Federal Park Service. All of this stuff, these are federal operations. But if the Metro PD is not doing the job that the Metro PD is supposed to be doing in the civilian part of Washington, D.C., which is all encompassed, is all part of, let's just do it this way. If the Jacksonville Police Department was out of control, not arresting people, the crime rate was absolutely astronomical as compared to all the cities in around Jacksonville, as compared to the rest of the unincorporated area of Jacksonville. Do you not think that the sheriff at some point in time would say, wait a minute now, Jacksonville also belongs to me as far as law enforcement. I have legal right to go in there and make arrests. Do you not think that might occur if Jacksonville PD became so slack that they weren't doing their job? Well,
we know the National Guard is primarily funded by the federal government. Right. The majority of his budget comes from Congress and bills that have been passed by Congress. In 2020, they passed like $12.3 billion just for the National Guard. That was in 2020, and I don't know what they're doing now. But the thing about it is, just like I said, if the federal government needs the National Guard to go to D.C., or if they need the National Guard to go to California, which they've already done that, they need a National Guard to come to North Carolina, then that's what the National Guard needs to do. I mean,
Oh,
What are we paying them for, Rayford?
Steve, you
I
asked.
have a question.
Yes.
I was going to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Can I ask
Go
you a
ahead.
question first? Because you mentioned major cities and stuff. So, would you consider Arlington, Texas, a major city? Arlington, Fort Worth? A large
In the
city?
Fort Worth area, yeah, that's a big metro area. I mean, if
Right.
you're talking about one of the suburbs, you know.
Because
about
they
that?
have one of the lowest crime rates in the United. I'm just curious if it's because of the makeup of the population.
But wait a minute, Chris. That's out of all the cities, they had the lowest crime rate. What is their crime rate compared to the out city?
That's a good
It's
question.
going to be
I have
higher
to look
than
it
it is in the. It's going to be higher than it is in the suburbs of that city. That was my point. I know you can find the lowest crime rate of a city, but it
Right.
still has a higher crime rate than the outskirts do.
I think you were
and
talking about
that's
the
just- that's
region,
what's
weren't you?
Yeah,
Arlington,
regional.
Arlington slash.
Arlington slash Fort Worth, like
Yeah.
Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Virginia Beach has low crime rate.
Mhm.
It's a
And it's
populated area.
it's fairly populated.
Yes, it's very populated.
Right. Right. But if you go to the outskirts of that, you know, just like here, you know,
Right.
Jacksonville has a fairly low crime rate.
It does.
But if
Now.
you come to where I live, it's much lower than it is in Jacksonville.
Right.
You know, in the outskirts, any town. That's kind of what the point I was trying to make is any city is going to have a higher crime rate than the surrounding area. That's going to look like that city is crime ridden.
Probably because it's
but
denser
now-
and more opportunities.
Mhm.
Right, but the fact that we know that we look at, you know, when we hear about cities with high crime, the first thing that pops in our mind is like New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C.,
Philadelphia.
L.A., Philadelphia. But the
Baltimore.
the highest crime rates are in places like Memphis and Little Rock, and we never hear about those. And that to me is a little odd. That why is it that these cities are not included in that group of cities? You know, as of very dangerous places. It seems a little one sided.
And
You know, and I was going to say, just like with the Washington being mostly federally controlled, there's a reason, you know, a reasonable argument to be made that they, you know, why they would send the National Guard in there, but then they're immediately talking about going to other places that aren't federally controlled.
Yep.
So,
I can only address what's happening now, but I think the crime problem, if you want to call it that, everybody's got a problem, but I think the crime problem was not being addressed in D.C. I think that was one of the big issues.
I agree.
I got you, and I wouldn't disagree with that. But wouldn't it also be an option to send 2,000 additional officers instead of military in?
Who would you bring in?
And then you would,
Who would
and
be
then
the
maybe you would
officers?
violate the Constitution.
Where would you get the
I
officers?
don't know. I don't know. I'm just hypothesizing here that a difference in personnel would really make a big difference in the optics. It would have been.
And then, of course, there is this show of force that encourages bad people to go to do their bad thing somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop them from doing bad things. It's like putting up street lights. They used to say, put up street lights.
Yeah.
They just quit doing the crime under the street lights. They go to places that don't have street lights. It never stops it. It
No.
moves it around.
No.
I think it's the measure. I think part of it too is the how they measure it,
Mhm.
the crime rate, and I think it's the per capita per 100,000,
Yeah.
and that makes it difficult to.
And then it's hard to compare. Let me think of a city in North Carolina. Why don't we take Richlands? It's a small city, right? We got Richlands. We've got Steve's Ferry, which is not a city, but we got the Holly Ridge. The crime rate at some of these locations, if you got 200 people there and you got 5 people committing a lot of crimes, the crime rate could be way up.
Yeah.
But the number of crimes itself may not reflect the crime rate itself, because it doesn't take much in a small population to change the dynamics of what the crime rate looks like.
Right.
So I have to look at cities and compare them. If you're going to compare city to city to city, find Memphis-sized cities, find LA size cities. Don't compare Memphis to LA. Don't compare Memphis to Jacksonville. You know, you need to compare apples and apples, and because those rates are going to vary all over the place.
Well, and that's why I was mentioned that, because per capita, Steve's right, Memphis is number one per capita.
Right.
Of 100,000
Right.
per 100,000, their crime rate's the highest. But
Yeah, that's what the rate indicates. That is a percentage of the whatever it is there.
And I understand the math of, like, in Los Angeles, that's a much larger pace, and the actual number of crimes is going to be much larger.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I understand that side of it too. But those cities aren't in the conversation is puzzling.
You know, and maybe that's one of the reasons that whoever in the administration put out there one day said, well, you know, we can take this show on the road. Mm-hmm. Whatever whatever the thought process was there, I don't know. I wouldn't have a hit team. I wouldn't have a bunch of National Guardsmen weaponized, if you want to call it that. I think is an overused term, and I don't think they will. How many of them have shot anybody since they've been in D.C. working? None. Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they will. But
no, I don't think they will either. I went out with Kent State.
Yeah, but the optics matter. Mm-hmm. We've always considered that, or at least I have, and that's what I've always heard everybody else say up to just recently, is that that's un-American.
Well, I heard the same thing even down at Curie Beach when, after a couple of hurricanes in '97, I think it was, when the National Guard was mobilized and they were down there and they were patrolling right along with the grand total of 6 police officers around the clock. And, you know, that's a big area to patrol when people trying to sneak in from by boat and everything else so they could go loot. National Guard was right where they were. So, you know, those kinds of things, it has a place. But I know you're talking about, yes, it was an event. But there were people out there who locals said, oh, my God, we got federal troops here. We don't need all these federal troops here. I remember that back then. That was 30 years ago.
Well, and when I watched the interview with Tom Tillis, he raised, or I brought up an interesting question about this, about where does this go? You know, do we now have military patrolling the streets of Washington, D.C. forever?
No. And
if okay, so when they leave, is the crime not going to go back to where it was?
I will hope that with I will hope that with the addition of somebody who can work within a civilian police department to get them turned around, as we had happen here in Jacksonville years and years ago now, to get them turned around and on the right road to fighting crime the way it needs to be, instead of a bunch of security guards hanging around, which is what it looked like was going on. But that leadership has got to come from the top, and that means literally the police chief, but above that. When you got a police chief that doesn't even know some of the streets in the town that he or she is working, there's a problem. We got a police chief who's more interested in partying with those politicos in Washington. You got a problem. And when you examine the root cause of some of these things, it's because of a lack of enforcement or an impediment to the enforcement. Either one, that means cops ain't able to do the jobs.
But if that's true, is that what's true in every city that has a crime?
I haven't been to every city, but this is the stuff that I've studied about DC most recently because of what they've been complaining about for the last couple of years, and it happened before the Trump administration.
And I don't disagree with you, but liberal cities have always been liberal. Conservative cities have always been conservative, and both of them have crime problems.
Yeah. Well, I've studied Chicago more than I have DC. I will tell you that.
Right.
I'm sorry. I've studied a portion of Chicago. Yeah. It's the South Side. You look at the rest of Chicago, the crime rate there is overshadowed. If they could split out the South Side of Chicago would have a relatively normal crime rate for a city its size.
Yeah. Would that was what I wanted to say about that subject. I had one short thing I wanted to say about a different subject y'all were talking about this morning, and that was the heinous crime that happened with the shooter there.
Yeah.
And of course, my heart goes out to anybody who's involved in that, man. That's just, a tragedy that nobody
wins.
wants, yeah. The thing that jumps in my mind is when things like this happen, I honestly try and put my mind to how can we stop this from happening?
Yep.
And I run into a brick wall every time I think about it.
Yep.
It's nowadays, especially with the internet, you've got people who are exhibiting hate and rage on a daily basis.
Yep.
How do you prove somebody's insane until they do something insane that you can use them as an example?
You don't prove them insane in most cases until they do something totally irrational. But there's almost nobody who is going to be committing crimes like this who do not show symptoms. You don't develop,
I would agree with that,
don't develop a major cold by going to sleep and waking up in 8 hours and you're dying from a cold. There are things that happen progressively.
Right. But what I've seen some of the videos that the person had posted or whatever, and you can clearly say, oh, yeah, man, that person was spewing hate and rage, But you can go online and you can easily find at least 100,000 people in the country who had posted similar things that will not act on that.
Do we ignore them?
I don't know what we do. How do we pick a needle out of a stack of needles?
Do we not just, do a knock and talk type thing? Is what we used to call them, knock and talk.
I'm all for anything that we can do, but once again, logically, I run into a block wall of how do you, ultimately, how do you prove these people are insane before they do something insane?
I go back
doing hate and rage.
Go back to not everything's mental illness.
So let's just say that there's 100,000, as you say, that post stuff every day. If there was a knock and talk at every one of those 100,000, first of all, maybe 99,000 of that 100,000, when a professional does a knock and talk and sits down and have a chat, then they come to find out that this is just a guy that's spouting off la 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 la, doesn't have the means, doesn't have the real motive. He just runs his mouth, kind of like talk show people.
Now, Steve, it's sort of like what I mentioned, it's not logical because that's I deal with facts and logic. But honestly, you're given the choice, free will, good or evil, and there's evil out there, and there's evil out there because people follow evil, and there is no logic to it.
I need to change the subject because we're almost out of time.
I was going to say one last thing, Lee, before
Sure.
If a week ago with this guy, how would you have proved that they were going to do this? Even if you would have seen what they posted or whatever, before they actually committed the act, how would you have known they were going to do that? And I wish I had a good answer. I just, like I say, that's a brick wall. I don't know how we're going to get past. Unfortunately, and it's sad.
Steve,
it's sad, but it's a reality.
Steve, you ever sat down to talk with somebody that perhaps you did not know, but after about 5 minutes of conversation, you're like, whoa, I need to get away from this dude. He's crazy.
I'm going to say a joke, and it's the guy in the mirror that I normally feel that way about. But I don't mean to joke at that time. But
yeah, I understand.
Just to lighten the mood a little bit. But
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's probably crossed that bridge.
Yeah.
Just over the age of 21.
And then you start examining any future contacts, or you start asking other people. You talk about them, and then you may find a whole group of you in the same boat. Well, that's the time that somebody needs to be making a call. Okay, we got to go.
Appreciate it, Steve.
Thanks so much time, guys. Y'all have a blessed day.
Lee!
I need someone to call the Jacksonville Senior High School office and ask them when they're going to put the link online to buy the tickets for tomorrow night's
What's their
football
number?
game.
Call them right now.
We can call them right.
You
Okay,
can call
wait a
them.
minute.
Call them from the phone right there.
Their administrative assistant will answer the phone.
I'm trying to. I used to know that number by heart.
Yeah.
I have to go back here.
It was a 4-digit number. What I knew about
I
her.
do want to mention.
455. What is that?
You got 9,999 chances from
We got a
there.
call coming in, so but
Yeah, that's our friend Chris Miller calling back.
You have an answer to our question?
Throw footballs, baseballs, basketballs.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, everybody, it's me again, and just wanted to respond to a couple of things that were said about what do we do, and we've run into a brick wall for when it comes to the signs that people are showing that, and we don't know exactly what they're going to do down the road. Well, I mean, I don't want to say it's simple, but if people are showing signs by posting disturbing things on social media, and obviously people saw that on YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is, it automatically should raise a red flag.
Yep.
And it's job as parents, teachers, law enforcement to handle that situation. You don't automatically assume something's going to come up and shoot up a school or a bank or a building, but you do take proactive measures of monitoring the situation and making sure that this person is is showing signs of disturbing behavior. So let's monitor them and make sure they don't get near a school or a bank or a building like that. So I just think I tell you what, my friend Chris Marks, are you in the mood for some spaghetti right now? Because a lot of spaghetti was just thrown against the wall, wasn't it?
Oh my Lord.
I don't want that kind of spaghetti.
Oh my Lord.
Mamma mia.
All right. Lee, you got an answer? Chris, when are they going to post the tickets for sale on Jacksonville High?
What's up with that? We're going to call them right now.
Today's Thursday.
We're going to call them.
Go ahead and call them
Yeah,
right
they
now.
should. I mean,
Well, after
it is
he's
Northside. It is Northside's home game, so I would check maybe Northside's.
Northside's not even
website as
listed.
well.
There's no listing for any of the
It's
high
free.
school football games this week.
Okay.
You try to get it free.
And one more thing, I got an invitation for you, Lee, and I want you to guess who this person is. You don't have to say it on air. But I have I have an invitation. I'm not saying crime is good. I can even concede that crime may be bad. But if you listen to conservative media, you would think crime is just the pure evil. And I just think Trump has more important things that weigh on his mind than defending crime. So
Shift.
we can again, all in
Sure.
fun, but I'm sure y'all can guess who I'm talking about.
Pelosi.
Okay, dokey.
That's a good one, Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
Hey, you got a call?
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's call him right now.
Yeah, just
Call, one thing I want to mention,
pick up either line. Let me know which.
This
Well, I'll know.
weekend,
Can I just go speaker?
while Lee's calling
You
Jacksonville
call
High,
in as soon as it starts ringing, hang up because I'll pick it up then.
is this weekend the Ron Relay motorcycle runs happening to raise money for Reese Across America. It's not obviously sponsored by Reese Honor and Our Fallen Veterans, but it's a good cause, and it's happening at the Harley Davidson dealership. So if you get a chance and you're a rider,
At any time, you may press 0 to be connected with our front desk.
press 0.
Zero.
For
Press
guidance,
zero.
press
She
2.
can't.
Press 0.
For the data manager, press 3.
She
For the
can't.
school treasurer, press 4. For the nurse, press 5. For the cafeteria, press 6 dots. For the athletic director,
Oh.
press 7.
It's disconnected.
Oh,
For administration, press 8.
work.
Uh-huh.
For closings and delays, press 9. Thank you.
What am I supposed to
Zero.
0.
You're not getting it. It's disconnected.
Oh,
hang up?
I was listening.
I'll put the phone over here and I'll make the calls.
Wait a minute. You want me to do it again?
Sorry.
When I push the button over here, that phone is dead. You have no controls.
Oh, then how are you pushing 0?
You didn't let me do it.
You said
Okay.
push. I'm going to call him. I'll let everybody know.
You got to run through all that rigmarole to get to it. Somebody, a air breathing person. No, I can drive over there in that length of time and find out. Give me the tickets or else.
Oh
Call the
my
police.
God.
You got a school resource officer here. Send him up.
Real quick, I did want to mention that the city of Jacksonville is set to host a public open house on Wednesday, September 3rd to review and discuss updates to local flood hazard and flood risk data in the city and areas surrounding Jacksonville's corporate limits and the ETJ. The event will take place in meeting rooms A and B at the Jacksonville City Hall, located at 815 New Bridge Street from 4 to 6 p.m. This is a good time for you to go find out whether or not you live in a flood area and review all the local ordinances and stuff like that on it, and then be able to adjust your homeowner's insurance accordingly if you need to
When it
before
rains,
a storm comes.
when it rains and you've got puddles in your yard that are deeper than ankle deep, you're probably in a flood zone.
Well,
Okay.
you know, we some of the areas of our city and our county experienced a lot of flooding
Yeah.
back when we had Florence.
Uh-huh.
And so I think they have changed some of the flood risk areas. So
All right, between now and tomorrow morning at 7:00, we will know if you can buy your tickets online. If you're going to have to wait until tomorrow, you might just be out of luck.
They'll sell them at the gate.
No, they don't.
they haven't been, but you have to.
I don't want to stand in line for 2 hours at the gate for two home teams, basically.
Right.
Both the teams are in Jacksonville. Stand in line at that gate. We leave today and we camp it out.
Yeah, they've been having you go online to do all that. So I know there's a couple times my brother said he actually went through the gate at Jacksonville and paid right there.
Well, that's fine, but the
that
rest of
was
the
few
people
and
were
far.
they didn't. The other people were not standing in line; they were just spewing through.
Look, I
Imagine
don't know.
all 5,000 of those people standing in line.
I just know.
It's going to be packed over there.
I have to take advantage of my press ID.
There you go.
I have one too.
Yeah.
They ain't got to worry about it.
I'll have to get Chris one.
But we always pay for it. We always pay.
We do. We pay. We can do our contribution to the school.
Okay, dokie, it's time to say goodbye.
Thank goodness.
Sayonara. Hasta la vista, baby.
Yes.
Au revoir. So long.
Be the same.
We'll see you later.
We'll see you
alligator.
later.
Have a blessed
What
day.
else? What else is there?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Goodbye. See ya. We're live and local, real talk, where we're awake, not woke, but I'm going to go to sleep. Bye.
Bye.